The entire ballroom seemed to freeze the moment the elegant woman pointed toward the service entrance and coldly declared that the young waitress didn't belong among the guests. Crystal chandeliers glittered overhead, expensive laughter echoed through the grand hall, and hundreds of influential people turned to witness a humiliation they assumed would end in silent tears. The waitress stood motionless, her hands trembling around a silver tray, while the billionaire's wife smiled with cruel satisfaction. But before anyone expected what would happen next, a chair scraped loudly across the marble floor. The CEO of the world's largest hospitality company slowly rose to his feet. His expression wasn't angry. It was disappointed. And within the next few minutes, the entire room would learn that true greatness is never measured by wealth, but by the respect we show those who quietly serve us every day. Before we continue this unforgettable story, if you believe kindness is stronger than pride and that everyone deserves respect regardless of their job, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Compassion Chronicles, share this story with someone who believes in second chances, and leave a comment below telling us which country you're watching from. Your support helps us continue bringing meaningful stories that inspire hearts around the world. 24-year-old Maren Calloway had spent most of her life learning how to disappear into the background. Growing up in a small coastal town, she watched her widowed grandmother work endless shifts cleaning hotel rooms just to keep food on their table. Life had never offered them luxury, but it had given them something far more valuable: dignity. Her grandmother often reminded her that no honest work was ever beneath anyone. Those words stayed with Maren long after illness forced her grandmother to stop working. Determined to support the only family she had left, Maren accepted a position as a banquet waitress at one of the city's most prestigious luxury hotels, hoping every paycheck would keep the medical bills under control. Although guests rarely noticed her, her coworkers admired her gentle nature. She greeted every visitor with genuine warmth, remembered regular clients by name, and quietly helped new employees whenever they felt overwhelmed. Even after exhausting 12-hour shifts, she was often the last person helping clean the ballroom. Her managers appreciated her reliability, but in places filled with wealthy guests, people like Maren were often treated as invisible. That evening, the hotel hosted one of the year's most exclusive charity galas. Politicians, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and investors filled the magnificent ballroom dressed in designer gowns and tailored suits. Cameras flashed at every entrance while reporters documented the glamorous evening. Maren had spent the entire day ensuring every table looked flawless. She wasn't thinking about luxury. She was thinking about finishing her shift in time to visit her grandmother at the hospital before visiting hours ended. Among the honored guests was Celine Ashcroft, the glamorous wife of billionaire investor Victor Ashcroft. Celine had built a reputation for elegance, but behind the polished smile was someone who measured people's worth by status alone. She expected perfection from everyone around her and believed employees existed only to serve without ever being seen. As dinner progressed, one of the reserved VIP tables unexpectedly lost a guest due to a cancelled flight. The banquet manager quietly asked Maren to temporarily sit at the empty chair while tasting staff confirmed a dietary concern before the replacement guest arrived. It was a routine hospitality procedure that lasted only moments, but from across the ballroom Celine misunderstood what she saw. Walking confidently toward the table, she looked directly at Maren with visible disgust before loudly declaring that a waitress had no business sitting among distinguished guests. She insisted that someone like her belonged in the staff dining room, not at a table reserved for society's elite. Conversation stopped. Forks rested against expensive china. Every nearby guest watched the young waitress lower her eyes, embarrassed beyond words. Maren felt every stare pressing against her. She wanted to explain the misunderstanding, but years of being overlooked had taught her that arguing rarely changed people's opinions. She quietly stood, apologized despite doing nothing wrong, and reached for her serving tray. Her cheeks burned with humiliation, yet she refused to let tears fall where strangers could see them. Then came the sound no one expected. A chair slowly slid backward. At the head table stood Ronan Mercer, the quiet but widely respected CEO of the international hotel group that owned the property. Few people recognized him because he rarely attended public events, preferring to observe quietly rather than seek attention. Throughout the evening he had watched not only the glamorous speeches but also every employee who made the event possible. He had noticed Marin helping elderly guests, calming nervous co-workers, and solving problems before anyone else even noticed them. The room fell completely silent as Ronan walked toward the center of the ballroom. He looked first at Marin, then at the guests, before finally meeting Celine's eyes. His calm voice carried through every corner of the magnificent hall as he explained that true hospitality was built by people whose names rarely appeared in magazines. Every luxurious dinner, every polished ballroom, and every successful celebration existed because hard-working employees gave everything they had behind the scenes. He gently asked everyone to imagine what the evening would look like without the cooks, cleaners, servers, dishwashers, and maintenance workers. The chandeliers might still shine, but the heart of the event would disappear. Respect, he said, should never depend on a person's paycheck or job title. Then, in a gesture no one would ever forget, Ronan invited Marin back to the empty chair and announced that until the replacement guest arrived, she would remain seated because she had earned everyone's respect through her character, not through wealth. The ballroom erupted into applause. Several guests stood one after another, not because protocol demanded it, but because something inside them had shifted. Even seasoned business leaders found themselves reflecting on how often they overlooked the people quietly serving them every day. Celine's confident smile vanished. For the first time that evening, she seemed to understand that expensive jewelry could never hide an unkind heart. She quietly lowered her eyes while Victor, her husband, appeared visibly ashamed. Without creating further embarrassment, Ronan simply returned to his seat, allowing the moment itself to teach the lesson words never could. After the gala ended, Ronan requested a private meeting with Marin. Instead of discussing the incident, he thanked her for maintaining grace under unimaginable humiliation. He explained that leadership wasn't tested during easy moments but during painful ones. Her calm dignity had impressed him more than any executive presentation ever could. Several weeks later, Marin received an unexpected promotion into the hotel's guest experience leadership program. Her compassion, professionalism, and attention to detail had been noticed long before the gala. The incident had simply revealed to everyone else what the leadership team already knew. Months passed, and Marin helped redesign employee training across the company's international hotels, emphasizing empathy, respect, and teamwork. Staff morale improved, guest satisfaction reached record highs, and her story quietly inspired thousands of employees who finally felt seen. Her grandmother recovered enough to leave the hospital, proudly attending the company's annual celebration where Marin accepted an award recognizing extraordinary service. Looking across the audience, Marin realized the greatest reward wasn't the applause. It was knowing that one painful moment had transformed the culture of an entire organization. Before we reach the ending, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, have you ever witnessed someone being judged because of their job, and what did you do? Your story could encourage someone else today. As the evening ended, Ronan reminded everyone that companies are remembered not only for profits but for the humanity they practice every single day. Marin never became famous, yet countless employees found confidence because one young waitress refused to answer cruelty with bitterness. She answered it with quiet dignity. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Compassion Chronicles. Leave a comment below to help this message reach more people, because every act of kindness shared has the power to inspire another. And always remember, the strongest people are not those who stand above others, but those who choose to lift others up when the world tries to push them down.